There's an adage that basically states that power tends to corrupt and absolute power corrupts absolutely. While this adage, it was made and meant more in the sense of social or economical, political power, that type of thing, when it comes to superpowers, it does apply all the same. I'm Guapo Jim, and today I'm going to be breaking down Chronicle and why this film about 3 high school superhumans is actually a true hidden gem. Before I talk about Chronicle, this is a small channel. Not a lot of people who watch my channel are actually subscribed. So if you do like this video, I'm gonna need you to like this video, comment, subscribe, share, the whole deal. All support is super appreciated. I've also got some links down below as well. So I mean, if you wanna click those up, that's just another way to support Guapo Jim Ministries. With that out of the way, I'm gonna shut up now and I'm gonna keep talking about Chronicle, all right? So let's get to it. So, for those of you who don't know or are too young to remember, Chronicle is a 2012 superhero film. What really makes this film unique is that A, it's actually not based on any pre-existing comic books or cartoons or anything like that. And B, this movie decided to be really different by going the avant-garde approach and giving us a found footage style movie, akin to the Blair Witch Project or Cloverfield, something like that. If you'd asked me prior if these two fields or these two different genres of movies could work, I would have definitely given you an astounding hell no, but I've been wrong before, and this movie managed to give us something new and fresh while giving us something familiar at the same time. Basically, Chronicle follows the story of these 3 high school youths. You've got Andrew, who's like your typical nerdy youth that comes from an abusive home life. You've got Matt, who's more your everyman type of dude. And then you've got Steve, who's like the D1 jock nigga, the popular guy, that type of thing. Basically, on one fateful night, we get to follow these guys as they stumble and end up finding this mysterious object that, again, like typical movie stuff, it just happens to give them all telekinetic abilities. So what begins as something almost like a carefree mission as these guys begin to learn their new powers and really master them, it turns into something really dark and really chilling as the movie continues to progress. As I alluded to before, this is a found footage type of movie. So through the view of Andrew's video camera, we basically get to witness the trio's feats as they test their limits and really experiment with their newfound abilities. Underneath the surface of everything going on, cracks are beginning to form though, especially in Andrew. Remember before how I said that this guy is a nerdy, more sensitive type youth that grew up in a super abusive household? Well, all of that pain and resentment and anger and shit like that, it all gets magnified and it really shapes the way that he views the world, especially now that he's got superpowers. So as all of their abilities grow stronger, so do the stakes. And these friends are now forced to confront the darker sides of not only themselves, but the new powers that they possess as well. Hey, what's guan in slime? If you're watching this right now, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and I'm gonna assume that you're a fan of more unorthodox superhero movies. If that's the case, Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker would be your shit. I actually made a video about that movie and I've left a link in the description below. So do yourself and your boy a favor and check that shit out. You know what I mean? You will not be disappointed, I'm telling you. From a production standpoint, this movie had actually been in the works for many, many years. Josh Trank, yes, that Josh Trank, he actually conceived the idea for this movie back in high school, and after writing it then, he spent a further 10 years really developing it and getting it as best as he could so that way he could go and sell it to one of these major movie studios. Of course, a movie studio bought it, and he was even able to direct it himself. But because this was a debut movie for him, the studio, they're trying to shoot that shit on the cheap. So I think they said that the budget for this film was about $15 million. Considering that and using that as a bit of context, this movie, when it did come out during its box office run, it actually did make a decent amount of money. And in terms of its critical reception, it was well reviewed as well. Like, I mean, I'm not even gonna lie, my nigga Roger Ebert, yeah, that Roger Ebert, he gave this film 3.5 stars when it first came out. Because of its success, a sequel was definitely gonna be greenlit. But I don't know if you know this, but Josh Trank, that nigga does not play. Like, that guy, he's one of those dudes. I know I just said that he doesn't play, but what I actually meant to say was he plays for keeps. This guy does not fuck around, and if there's something that he really cares about, he is going to hold on to his laurels. And because of this, he's even said, yo, I'm not a part of any sequel. I don't care. I don't want to be a part of it. I'm not doing it. And if movie studios do go and do it behind my back, that movie itself is going to be a piece of shit. I kid you not, those were his exact words. If you do ever want to watch Chronicle 1 for yourself to see what he was talking about, you can find it streaming today on Amazon Prime Video, Apple Plus, and Disney Plus as well. All in all, I really enjoyed this film. There's nothing that I love more than an original superhero story. You guys know that if you've watched this channel enough. What I mean by that is a superhero story that hasn't been done in comics or cartoons or anything like that. And this film, it delivered on that like a motherfucker, I'm telling you. It's kind of funny thinking about it, and I only really thought about it when I started doing the research for this video, but Michael B. Jordan has actually been in his real fair share of superhero or comic book type films. Again, he was in both of the Black Panther films. He was Johnny Storm in one of the Fantastic Four movies. He was even the voice of Cyborg in the cartoon Flashpoint Paradox, if you're counting that too. What I'm saying by that is he's obviously very comfortable in that world. He enjoys playing these parts, and you can tell in this movie. He feels very comfortable. He comes off as very believable in everything that he's doing. He never really seems fake, if that makes sense. Side note, I also think it's funny too, maybe it's the Friday Night Lights thing, but anytime that they cast this guy as an athlete, you know damn well like he's gonna kill that role. Every time, he's gonna kill it. Even if he's not taking off his shirt, he kills those athlete roles. I don't know why. Even Dane DeHaan, so the guy who plays Andrew, he, again, fair point, he's been in a fair amount of superhero comic book movies too, but he plays his role really effortlessly. Like, they always seem to cast him as the villain. I can definitely see why though. He really does play that perfect amount of pain and anger. Not to say that it justifies what he does, but seeing what he goes through and him playing the role so well, you almost do feel a little bit of sympathy towards him and his character. I won't lie, I'll give him that for sure. I'll be the first person to admit, I do always care. I hate so much how they kill off the black guy, but it's just kind of par for the course and it just kind of happens, so. It is what it is. I know that they were talking extensively about making a sequel, but if you ask me, this movie is one of those films that does work best as a one-off. Not to say that the story continuing on wouldn't be cool, but this is one of those stories, it felt pretty finished. Like when it ended, it felt like I didn't really care about what happened going forward, I won't lie. All things considered, I was also a really big fan of the home video found footage approach. Those are two genres that I would have never really thought would have worked together, but somehow they really did bring them together seamlessly, and I was a big fan of that. The fight scenes in this movie were sick. Maybe it's just a me thing, but I'm not always the biggest fan of when you have whole crews of people and they all have the same superpower. It would have been sick if these guys had different powers, but then again, they would have been far too akin to like the Fantastic Four, so it really did give kind of a cool aspect that they gave them all the same power, just so that it really does become something of a development issue, and you know, it becomes something that can become a competition between the three of them, and that worked well for the characters in the movies. Anyway, you guys know me, I'm gonna stop rambling now, and you guys know how I love to talk to you guys about movies, and I like to bring up that next shit to you, you know, kind of keep you in the know. And I just wanted to let you guys know why I've always thought that Chronicle is a true hidden gem. Thank you, thank you, thank you if you've made it this far. If you're a fan of this type of content, I'll need you to like, subscribe, and comment down below on which other films or movies you guys think were true hidden gems. Stay safe, later days.